There we go, looks like we might be connected, which is good to know. Let's just kick off Twitch as well. Poke my head in things, make sure it's all making sense. Oh, stuff's happening over there. That's good. I see feeds. Excellent. Good. Well, I think we're all ready to go. Evening, everyone, and welcome to another live stream. That's my watch telling me, yes, you've just gone live. Yes, very good. Evening. I'm Gary from Big Spud, and welcome along for this Marco Pierre White recipe live stream, as decided by you. I put up a poll earlier this week, deciding which chef you would like me to cook from. Marco Pierre White won by a landslide. Following that, I then asked, what recipe do you want me to cook? And again, a lamb recipe won by a landslide. Very seasonal. Lamb, of course, bang on for right now. We've got lamb, we've got petit pois à la française, and I'm also going to do a pomme Anna or pomme Maxime, just because the man himself says a dish is incomplete without potatoes on the side. I couldn't agree more. So I've written out a quick sketch of what order I need to do everything in. I've done a few new things tonight. I've got this camera on a sort of gimbal job, so it follows me around. I've also got a few new cameras set up, some of which you can glimpse around. So that'll lead to shenanigans, I'm sure. I can turn this one on at the same time, a new thing for me. And also at some point, because I worked out I need multiple hobs, we need to go over there. That's behind me right now. So that camera over there. So we'll all go. And I've also added loads of overlays for Twitch and stuff, which are probably going to break and will probably panic me at some point. So, you know, do shout in the chat if something's going wrong, if you need something, because all sorts has changed and no doubt will go wrong and attempt to fox me at some point. But I think first things first, I'm going to get on with pomme Maxime, also known as pomme Anna. I looked into the history of that. It's a strange one. Something to do with the Maxim Hotel Bistro. The Anna name is a bit weird. Anyway, essentially lots of thinly layered potatoes with butter, and that's just pan fried. Simple as that. Or it can be baked. I'm going to use the Marco method, which is pan fried, which gives more opportunities for it to burn and go wrong, which makes for much better television. So I've just remembered I needed to melt some butter, so I'm going to pop the microwave on. Just 1 second. So you might hear whirrings and beeps in the background. That's the microwave doing its thing. But let's get on with peeling some potatoes. If you watched last week when I was live, I had the Kitchen Whiz Pro out, my favourite device for slicing and dicing, because it's very, 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 very consistent. So first of all, I'm serving for one, literally, so I'm going to get enough potatoes, thinly sliced potatoes, to cover the base of this tiny little pan. I debated using this cute little boy, but I didn't in the end. This little cast iron jobby, but went for something else. It's just, I'm guaranteed to get stuff out of this pan, he said stupidly. Right, let's start peeling some potatoes. All right, we had a debate last week in chat about, my microwave going off probably, whether you peel towards or away. And I'm a towards, and I wish I could tell you why. It's just the way I do it. Yeah, so I'm going to start with 2 potatoes and see how much that makes. There's 2 potatoes. Let's just chuck that through the machine. Let's play with my other camera. There it goes, it's on. You see me at the same time. Exciting, huh? I've also tried this. Do a full screen view. All guns blazing. Sorry for the noise there. Now, when I did that last week, I muted it, and some guy said, "Oh, we love the noise. Bring the noise." So there you go. Excuse me, just coughing there. So I've just melted some butter, some lovely Lurpak butter, my favourite. Here we go. How are we all doing out there tonight? I hope you're all doing well. Let's stick my second potato in. Lovely. So Marco first suggests that you blot everything on a cloth. You could use a tea towel, you could use kitchen roll, but I've got a muslin cloth, so I'm going to use that. Just get all that stuff out of the way. We'll tip all that out. Let's just get everything nice. Now I think looking at that amount of potato, that's going to be fine to fill this pan. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. There we go. Now we've got some space to work. Have a little shuffle around. Let's put that one on. Bring those over. So I'm just going to separate those out. Just to dry it out. If you're out there this evening, pop a message in chat, say hi, it'd be nice to hear from you. It also confirms to me that everything's working okay, if nothing else. It'd be great to hear that there's no echoes, there's nothing weird going on. When you're a one-man band, it's difficult to know exactly what's happening when you're in the middle of making dinner. Jason44, hello. Listen to The Devil in the Kitchen by MPW, riveting stuff. Listening to you got the audiobook version. Yeah, I read it. I did a video about it, sort of. I've got a video up about his roast chicken, which is where I got that recipe from. Currently doing really well on the channel. So it's a video about a sort of 3-stage process he does for roasting a chicken, which starts with a sous vide. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate the feedback. It's good to know, especially as I've changed a lot of my setup this evening from last week, and you never know what's going to work and what's not going to work. I run it past an expert, but it's not the same as actually going live, as test as you can do. Right, here's my potatoes. I've just dried them off, and then let's just get that in position. Lovely. Okay, bit of butter. Yeah, so this chicken recipe where you sous vide it first, and then it's in the way. Then you fry it in a pan, just like pan, just to brown it all over, and then finish it in the oven for like 40 minutes. And yeah, it was just kind of a bizarre technique. But my God, the comments came alive. People telling me I didn't brown it enough. I must have had about 50 of those. So, all right, okay. Good to know, I guess. Lots of people reasoning why the sous vide method would have worked, but I'm glad you're enjoying the book. I think it's an interesting read. It's a bit ridiculous, but then most things Marco does are quite ridiculous. So I've just layered the potatoes in there, a little melted butter, and of course, as obviously we are working off a cold pan. Again, Marco suggests a little salt. And we repeat. And I'm going to try and overlay everything I've done so it's on, off, on, off. The idea, of course, hopefully, is this is going to flip out of the pan at some point. And that's going to tick along whilst I do everything else, and it will provide much hilarity when I forget to look at it at some point and it starts to burn, and you guys will be able to see it burning behind me and I'll be none the wiser. So look forward to that, won't you? Never mind. Okay, there's another layer in. And some salt. You'll see the Nightbot in there again, just a service I set up that just throws a few statements out there just to give you a prod. Oh, I saw a heart emoji then. The heart emoji on YouTube is such a great idea, but as a person delivering to the camera, if you don't look at that exact second, you can't see it, and you don't know it's happened until after you've finished. It's a bit of an underthought system. I don't know how much crossover there is between my audience and Barry Lewis, the guy from the southwest of the UK. He's streaming right now, so I've picked a great time if there is crossover in my audience. He's just passed 1 million subs, and he was just saying, actually, now that he's got into Twitch and YouTube streaming, just how underdeveloped YouTube live streaming is. You just don't have the level of things you can do. Ganja time, are them's potatoes, them surely are potatoes, yes. Potatoes, and it's going to become what's called a pomme maxime, or pomme anna if you prefer. Chuck that in the wash. So yeah, there's a proper look at it. So I've just sliced potatoes very thinly. It's glaring quite a lot, isn't it? Hopefully you can figure it out. Melted butter and just salt. So that's it, potato, salt, butter, that's it. So I'm going to revert to this side now. Let's pop a light on behind me. Does that make things weird? No, that looks okay. So join me over here. Just popping a medium-low heat on. Just get it warm. And I'll come back to that as the evening wears on. I'm just going to make a weird signal so that the camera follows me. I've added a new gimbal. When you do a signal like that, it follows you. When I put my hand up, it stops. Right, so next I think we need to get on with the lamb. So I'm just going to pop them down. So I'm just going to stop the camera a minute. And let's talk about lamb. So I've got here a lamb rump. Let me show it to the mini cam over here. So a lamb rump, obviously from the hindquarters of the sheep, bang in season right now. If you're looking at it thinking, ooh, what's the green stuff? Well, the only one I could buy had sort of a garlic and rosemary dusting over it already, which is fine. It's complementary to what we want. It's not the recipe I was after, but it'll do the job. That's totally fine. Just going to move these things out of the way. Tidy those up later. Getting high tech, I don't know about high tech, it's just trying new things. It's fun to try new things, isn't it? Right, let's leave that there so you can have a look at it for a minute. I'm going to get my little hob and let's swap the pieces over for this so you can see what's going on. That'll do. So Marco suggests a cold pan for this lamb rump, and you may know this tip, this trick, this technique for when you put cold things in a pan, certainly the fat, then the fat gets time to render down and sort of start to bleed out before it gets crispy, so that it cooks the fat completely. So we're going to start this off in a cold pan. Bought a brand new bottle of oil today. Olive oil, there you go. Still got a stopper in. And so that's a 1 litre bottle of olive oil from Tesco, as you can see, Tesco's own brand. Rosemary goes well with lamb. Yep, it's, you know, rosemary is just perfect with lamb. Love it. That's not a feature of this recipe. It's just the way I had to buy it. It was sort of prepared. It's the only way I could get a lamb rump joint like that. How much do you think this bottle of olive oil was? Have a guess. That's just gone in like that. Let's just pop the heat on. £6 is Andrew Graham. Very good guess. Little bit of olive oil. £7. That 1 litre olive oil, which was quite shocking. My wife said, "Why was I shopping so much this week?" I said, "Oh, I bought olive oil." £7. So lamb's just starting from cold. Bit of olive oil, as we said. Oh, let me get a pair of tongs ready to turn. I can hear it starting to sizzle already. Just while it does that, let's have a quick look over at our potatoes over there. Ah, you can see both. So you can see, perhaps on the camera, slightly translucent around some of the edges, slightly catching on some of the edges as well. Might be a touch too hot. So I'm going to knock it down slightly, see where that leads us. We shall see. Yeah. Hope we're all doing well on this Friday evening as I speak to you, just 7:15 in the evening where I am. Just turning this down so it's not roaring. I always like to know, what have you guys had for dinner? What have you been eating today? Or if it's the middle of the day, what are you having for lunch? Let me know. So we're going to sear it on both sides and then transfer it to an oven. Again, I'm just copying exactly Marco's technique. What I'd actually like to do is insert a probe thermometer into it and measure it remotely, but my phone is doing the filming and it will get a bit too confusing, so not going to happen today. Let's have a little look, see how we've started. Oh, got some nice colour already forming on there. So I'm going to just tilt it onto one side. Hopefully the sizzling isn't causing too much noise for you guys. Just colouring it on all sides, and the oven is going to finish the work. Very good. Over at the potatoes. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I'm going to change my mind and turn it back up again a little bit. Okay, later on we are going to need, Marco calls for pearl onions, but I can only find shallots, so let's get a little knife. So I'm just going to halve and peel shallots. It's one of the worst jobs in the world, peeling shallots. I hate it. I far prefer it when you roast them and the skin just pops off. If anybody has a technique for peeling shallots, if anybody worked in a kitchen and knows the magic of how you peel shallots really quickly, I'd love to know what it is. Because I don't know what it is. Friday night, here cooking with you guys. I reckon that'll be done on that side now. Got a lovely deep brown colour on there now. And as predicted, it's taken me forever to peel shallots. Shallots are so fiddly, I've never worked out a good way to peel them. I'm glad it's not just me, because, yeah. This is why in a kitchen, you just get that junior to do it. So I reckon that's going to be done for now. So just going to continue to cook it uncovered in the oven 12 minutes, so let's pop that in there. So that'll be, by my reckoning, 7:32, so we'll see. Right, that's one shallot done. Jesus. So this is for French peas, petit pois à la française. You were always the junior though. Sorry, Phil. Sorry to hear that. I'm sure you're pleased I'm doing a Marco recipe and not someone else. Phil is not a fan of Jamie Oliver. Yeah, so this is for French peas, petit pois à la française. A recipe I've made loads of times. I've not made Marco's style, which starts with an emulsion, that is butter and water. And then just frying off baby onions with lettuce and adding peas. That's it, simple as that. It's that simple, as the man himself would say. We probably don't need that on at the moment, do we? Looking at nothing. I think I will do one more. I am only cooking for me tonight. Don't mention Jamie Oliver. I didn't mention Jamie Oliver. You mentioned him first, Phil. Let the record show. The house, the kitchen is full of lamb smell already, which is great, but it does linger, doesn't it? So I can start to hear the excited squeak behind me of the potatoes, so I hope we'll be there. Just heard a weird noise. I hope everything's okay. Some weird electronic noise. So if something stopped working, do let me know. Plans for the weekend, anyone? It's Mother's Day, certainly in the UK. I don't mean to scare you if it's not Mother's Day in your part of the world. I know it can move around for different countries. Right, I've done 3 shallots and I'm fed up already. Let's have a look at the potatoes. Let's use you to get underneath. Quite a bit of colour. you know, almost too much. So here's the fun bit. Not too bad. A little bit of sticking. Yeah, I think that's too hot now. I don't really like the appearance of that. Unfortunately, it has caught slightly. Ooh, and that one flipped over. That was unfortunate. Pop the camera back on for you guys. There we go. I'm going to add in a touch more butter to the top and just allow that to soak around the sides. So I think we need a little bit more fluid in that. Keep everything juicy. Nice, there we go, there we go. Lola Cakes, good to see you again. Mark Pierre White married a tub of Kerrygold in the early 80s, yes. And they gave birth to a beautiful bouncing tub of lard. Phil, you're making a strawberry roulade for my mum for Mother's Day. Oh, a strawberry roulade, living the dream. Excellent. Lovely, lovely. We also need some lettuce for our peas. Let me pop that to one side and bring you into the picture. Whoop, about there. So I'm just going to pick out some of the ends of this lettuce. This is the very end of the one we're using. Love a strawberry roulade. If you've never done this recipe, by the way, French peas, petit pois à la française, obviously this is the perfect time of year to do it, as peas and lettuce and lamb come around. They go so well together. There are lots of recipes for it. This one is extremely simple. I would usually dice a regular onion, fry it gently, add lettuce, let it wilt, add peas, and then maybe a little bit of stock. But essentially hot lettuce and peas. I'm just going to get large pieces of lettuce, and obviously lettuce is like, I don't know, 90% water. You can just feel it, can't you? Like my hand is wet just touching it. Don't like that bit. And so these pieces are going to, as they hit the pan, they're going to wilt, all the water's going to come out of them, and you're going to end up with hardly anything left. So, oh my God, that's a lot of lettuce. Actually, you're going to end up with not very much by the end of it. There's another little prep job we need to do, and that's the final garnish for our lamb, which involves chives. Love chives. Currently we are 5 minutes away with our lamb. Let's change that around. Let's see what's going on. Get a slightly bigger knife, just so we can rock through all these. I've had these delivered today, but they're not very fresh. Proper chives, you should go crunch right through them. Just over there to one side, you can't see, I've just planted my first batch of chive seeds for the year. Because I love having chives. I think they're really good on egg dishes. They're nice on salads. They're really good when you want onion flavour but without that harshness that you get from even red onion. Not too bad. Need to work on the old chiffonade. Let's just have a flick round all the technicals, make sure everything's behaving itself. Very good, very good. Lovely stuff. Turn that off for a minute. So I've got some chives prepped, ready to go a bit later on. Reminds me I need something else. I'm in the cupboard, by the way. If that's why everything sounds a bit odd. I'm looking for Dijon mustard, which I usually keep around as a matter of course. Ooh, that reminds me. I've only got English, so that kind of breaks the Dijonnaise that I was going to have. I've got English mustard instead. Never mind, never mind. I was in the shops the other day and I found this. Let me show it to the close-up cam a minute. It's Dijonnaise tandoori paste. If you don't know, Dijonnaise, a very, very high-end Michelin Indian style restaurant in Mayfair and other places, I believe. And when I saw Dijonnaise branded stuff, I thought, I'm going to give that a go. If anybody's tried that, I'd love to hear how you got on. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'll come up with something, no doubt. Right. Potatoes aren't that far away. Lamb, going by the clock, should be 2 minutes. Magnus, all it needs is a proper dollop of Coleman's. Well, again, I'm just doing the Marco thing. Baste it with a little mustard and then press it into the chives. So we'll see how his version comes out. I agree. Love a bit of Coleman's. But I happen to have Tesco mustard in the cupboard. Jim Connor. What, he of Terminator. Right, so we've got 1 minute left on the lamb. Again, I'm just trusting Marco's timings here. He just says 12 minutes. 12 minutes, done. And so we'll see what that does for us. I'm going to probe it. I've got my probe handy. So obviously I could stick it back in again if I wasn't very happy with it. So in a minute, we're going to set up my pan to do the petit pois à la française. There's no sauce with this. Marco bangs on and on and on about it. By the way, this is from the BBC Maestro series. He bangs on and on and on about how you don't need a sauce, just the resting juices. You know, guess what? You can't do better than Mother Nature. Yeah, we've heard it before, Marco. So that's 12 minutes apparently. So come with me and we'll have a look at the lamb. Pop that on. While she blows. Lovely dark colour. We'll go right into the centre of that, I think. That's reading 33 degrees in the centre, which is a little rare. I would prefer another 10 degrees on that. So I'm going to pop that back in the oven, I think, and we'll see. I'm going to wait another 4 minutes on that and see how that comes out. Cato, good to see you. Do you prefer Cato or Cato? Strong on the cat or more like the guy from the Pink Panther, Cato? I see you've been on the in the comments all week, darting around all the various recipes I've made. Lolacakes, you are correct. That activates camera following mode, which is why I did it. I'm not trying to make you lose the game. or whatever else you might think it means, which is why I did that, so you could follow me to the oven. But it's a bit correct, absolutely, yes. Unfortunately, the emoji doesn't work, just me doing it. So if I do that, then I can dance to the side, or not, and it will follow me. Just experimenting with different stuff, just to make the live a bit more interesting, and see what goes on. Yeah, just trying different things. Trying to make the stream a bit more, don't know, something going on. So the French peas aren't going to take very long. So I'm going to start those once the lamb is out, because then the lamb will rest for nearly 10 minutes and I think we'll be there. So let's go and check out, I'm going to do the hand up thing. Let's go and check out the potatoes. So you can feel them starting to collapse. They've got colour underneath. But how done are they? I'm going to poke a knife into them. So they feel done to me, but I'm not very happy with the uneven colouring. So I'm going to leave them, again, another couple of minutes and see what happens with those. Strong cat, like Roman Cato the Younger. Good, good to check these things. And how is California today? It's quite pleasant here in my corner of England this week. Gets up to sort of high teens. What's that, sort of mid to high 60s in your freedom units. And then it gets quite cool in the evening. So spring is happening, spring is happening. We've got daylight savings happening this weekend, which is another sign, obviously, that things are starting to go. I'm going to go and check that lamb. Let's get that out again. Obviously we're going to have, as they call it, carry-over cooking. It's going to carry on cooking after I sit it there. So that's gone up to 40. Let's just move that into your view. That's gone up to 40, so that's good. I would prefer a couple more degrees. Let's give it a feel. It's quite bouncy. Very lammy. What do we think, chat? A couple more minutes or leave it at 40? Because I'm going to rest it for nearly 10 minutes probably. I'm inclined to leave it unless I get big resistance to doing that. I like lamb fairly pink. It's not for everyone. But I think it's the best way to have it, to be honest. Stunning day in California. Big waves today too. Never done surfing. I'm guaranteed I don't have the coordination for it. Yeah, let's leave that be. Marco, as he does with many things, recommends leaving things to rest in the pan, which I always thought was odd, because obviously this is still hot, so it's still cooking, right? I'm just going to lift it, where's my tongs, to make sure it's not sticking to the surface. No. And hopefully, whilst it cools and rests, it'll relax out, we'll get lots of plenty of juice. Voting for leaving it out, well there we go, lollicakes. You win, my friend. I'm going to leave it out behind me over here. Let's bring the old other pan in. Out, mid-rare is best. Certainly with lamb. I'm taken to believe that lamb isn't super popular in the States. It's enormously popular here, particularly because of the wet climate we have. The grass helps those sheeps develop great fat and flavour. Right, I'm turning those potatoes off now. Just going to pry them out and then come back to them to serve. A bit happier with that colouring. So I'll just move them to one side for a minute. We'll just get this hot and then we're going to create an emulsion in this pan. of just butter and water. Let's get a little bit of water ready. I want to see some, that's what I want, that beading, that bubbling, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Bit of that. A little bit of that butter. Popping our shallots in to get started. Does anybody here have a BBC Maestro subscription? The reason I ask, popping in the lettuce now, just get that started. The reason I ask is because I was obviously watching Marco's recipe for this, and he says, as he puts the onions in, and the brilliant onions, he said, I've watched it like 10 times trying to figure out what he says, but he just goes, brilliant onions. I hadn't noticed it before. It gave me a good laugh. Just been watching the YouTube releases, yes. Yeah, quite a lot of it makes it onto YouTube, gets taken down and put up again. Never heard of it till you watch one of my vids. I don't think it's very well promoted, and yet for Marco fans, you know, you've got several hours. He's got 2 courses of videos on there. Where, you know, he talks strangely, talks about his life and experiences, and there must be a 3rd course on there, because there's another set of videos which the YouTube account for BBC Maestro occasionally links to, which is just about side dishes, and it's a different kitchen to what the other ones are set in. It's really odd. I don't know where the rest of that course is. I went and found loads of press releases for when they launched Maestro, and there was supposed to be a Heston Blumenthal course as well, and I nagged them about it, and they eventually said, no, we're not doing it anymore. Which, you know, if there had been a Heston course, I would have been all over it. Let's get some salt in there, and the Marco special, some white pepper. And I'm going to add some peas, which I get from the freezer. I always keep a bag of peas in the freezer. They're just like the best. So you've always got a vegetable on hand. They cook in minutes. You're just always prepared. Heston Blumenthal, proprietor of the Fat Duck. The very same. Just tossing that through. Letting those cold peas hit the pan. Obviously the temperature's going to go right down very, 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 very quickly. Sprayed some peas everywhere. That was good. Let's pick that one up before I tread on it. There's my rubbish pile over there. And that's nearly done. I think I'm going to try some of that. So the peas, actually the lettuce is just starting to break down. But it's still got bite, so it's still interesting. Peas still a little firm, so I'm giving them another minute just to get a little bit more al dente. I think that will buy us time to carve our lamb. Let's get a plate out ready. I'll come back to that pan at some point, go hoover up those juices. Right, I think I'm going to turn that off. We'll just move that out of the way so we can focus on the lamb for a minute. Let's give you a close-up. Daniel E. Never fried lettuce in my life. Try it, mate. Greetings from America. Whereabout? America is quite a big place, my friend. Right, let's, how best to show this off for you guys? Let's pull that back a little bit. There we go. Let's cut off the end cap. Just for plating, I'm going to cut off those 3 pieces. I'll come back to the rest. City of New York. Love New York. Wife and I went there on a honeymoon a long time ago. Yeah, big fan. Big fan. Oh, I just realised I was supposed to baste this already. Messed that up a little bit. Let's put that little camera on so you can see what's going on. I'm supposed to have basted the fat. Pop that on there. And then supposed to have rolled that in our chives we prepared earlier. Never mind, we'll do it now. Where can we put that where you can actually see what's going on? Not there, that's for sure. Just put my finger in mustard. Doing this a bit messily. Hope you'll forgive me. It's only me eating. I'm not poisoning anyone else tonight. And we will be just about ready to plate. So let's move everything about. Let's get this presented nicely. Do you know what? Let's pivot this camera a little bit. There we go. That's better. That's better. Right, we'll start with our peas. Probably switch to the webcam only, I think. We've got peas, onions, lettuce there, just water, butter, salt and pepper, that's all that is. Just simmered a bit. They're quite glossy, quite shiny. The lettuce has given off lots of juice. Get my tongs. So it's very moist there, very tasty. Let's bring the lamb into the story. And we're going to present that aside, I think. Where do you think you're going? Messing up my plate. Lovely blushing lamb there. And have you forgotten the potatoes? Remember him? Pop that onto a plate. And I'll cut myself a wedge. And by wedge, I mean half. And we'll have a final sprinkle of salt on the meat end. And then we'll switch back to me. Right, get some cutlery, it's time to eat. Let's get in amongst it. So there we have Marco Pierre White's rump of lamb with French peas and pomme maxine, or pomme Anna if you prefer. So well, we've got to start with some lamb, right? Oh, how could I forget? Let's get some resting juices. Nearly forgot. I would have been thrown out the Marco Pierre White fan club. You'd be there in 10 from California? I don't think so, but I appreciate the sentiment. 10 hours maybe. In fact, now you've got to cross America first, then you've got to get to us. Yeah, it's a long flight. So I'm guessing when Marco did his, it was a much higher quality piece of meat, because I'm getting quite greasy, fatty bits. He got a lovely liquor out of his, a lovely sort of resting juice. I'm not complaining, it's fine. But it isn't what he had. So there we go, got some juice on the plate now. Oh, lamb is just oomph, you know, lamb has great savouriness and depth that a lot of other meats, it's just different, you know, if you're not used to lamb. So a bit of onion. And a bit of lettuce. Yeah, that's all the freshness coming through, all that savouriness. Let's have some potato. Yeah, not bad. Let's try and show you the layers. How's that? You can kind of see the layers. There's a new camera up there, which I'm still getting used to. It was very cheap, but I just wanted an alternative angle. Daniel envious, not going to lie. Well, what's on your dinner plate for tonight? And Paolo, looks great, thank you very much. I'm very pleased with it, it's very nice. Yeah, what are you guys having for dinner tonight? You going out? Someone cooking for you? Are you cooking? Can you not be bothered? Are you going to click a button on your phone and someone brings it to you? Here's what it is. Just getting the camera to come to me a little bit more. Excellent. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So back to the pomme Anna for a moment. It's good. I should have been more gentle with the heat so that it didn't colour so quickly. It's cooked, perfectly cooked. But let me rephrase that. It's cooked through, you know, it's perfectly tender with a nice crust. But if I'd have been more gentle on that first wave of cooking, it would have browned more evenly. And, you know, I should have used more butter It's true of all Marco recipes. Lovely. Bit of lamb. Have a proper look. Cato is making street tacos and fresh salsa verde. You know what? A taco night is a good night, right? I love how every mouthful is slightly different when you have a taco. You know, you might have the crunchy bit, or you might have. Are they? I assume they're crunchy tacos, or are you going for soft tacos? And what sort of filling? You know, a carne asada, or something vegetarian, or fish. What's the fillings? And then you get, obviously, you line up all your fixings, whether that's going to be a sour cream or a cheese or your vegetables and your salad, rice, however you have yours. You know, there are rules, but I think there are no rules really. It's your dinner, it's going in your mouth, you decide what goes in it. I've lost a pea. I'm going to go a touch more bold with the salt. That's good. This is the bit I'm after with the fat on the end. Tasty stuff. It is my birthday this weekend. So I have treated myself to a pricey rib of beef, which is in the fridge. I will salt it overnight, give it a sort of dry brine, blast it quickly in the pan, and then finish it in the oven and have it with more of a Sunday roast dinner. That is roast potatoes, Yorkshire puddings, some nice carrots, that sort of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Cato, thank you. I'm enjoying that. It's very Friday night, right? It's rich and not especially healthy, but not awful either. Lamb is a very fatty meat. It's not very good for you. Oh, there goes. Bad Whamma Jamma says, happy birthday. Thank you very much. I will. Yeah, but in moderation. Lamb is great. Paolo, goddamn, the salt was magic. I need a 3 AM snack. Oh dear, is it 3 AM where you are? Not a good idea to be watching food channels at 3 AM, my friend. That's just asking for you to crawl down to the fridge, right? And see what you can scavenge. Well, I'm going to hang on just a couple more minutes, round it out till 8 PM UK time, so we can hang out together. Meanwhile, you're watching someone eat their dinner, and I appreciate you all for turning up. It's great to see you. And I don't think we've had any technical blow-ups, have we? I don't think so anyway. Tried a few new things today and it worked out. We've got a lovely bit of lamb, some lovely fresh vegetables. Isn't it funny how I've eaten the meat quicker than everything else? Funny that. I think lamb, though, is one of those that it doesn't... it's not great cold. You need to have it at least warm. If I've got leftovers, they have to be warmed up before I have them. They're just not right. bit more. Very good. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. If you recall, you voted for this on the community section of my YouTube page. You all voted to have a Mark Pierre white recipe. I then put forward, what do you want? And a lot of people, I mean, whilst the lamb dish won, not too far away in second place was a truffled cauliflower cheese. And if you saw my video last week, you'll know that I've got a jar of black truffles. So I need, pardon me, the excuse to use them. So I may well do that cauliflower cheese one soon. Just so the people who got the second place are satisfied. Well, there we go. Cato, cheers. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for hanging out. I'll finish my mouthful. It's been great seeing you all. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday and have a great week.